This is the Suplex Assassin Alex Kane, and you are listening to the CCP podcast. And just remember that Boomaye is for the people.
What is happening, friends of CCP Podcasting? Welcome to a very special episode of Beyond the Bell Live. I am Chris Page. That right there, that is Todrick Tabar Ramsey. And brother, we got a show for everyone tonight. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Today is a good day. It's my sister's birthday. She's a subscriber to the channel, so I want to spend a special shout out to Harley and Ivy Girl. Um, and I am so excited for our guest this evening. Um, One of the nicest people that I've ever met. Truly made my experience when I went down to the Hop for one of their shows special. So I'm really happy to be here tonight.
This is going to be fantastic. And you probably should never say a good thing about the guy again because he's supposed to be booed. But to be fair, I have a story as well, but we'll get into that in just a few minutes. Let's not delay the inevitable, and let's get to why we are here today. This dude is a fucking rock star, not only inside the ring but outside of the ring. And I've had the honor and privilege to get to know him over the last couple of months, and we've talked about getting together to do this. We've talked about getting him on the show. Time just wasn't there because the dude has been drumming all over the fucking world. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to Beyond the Bell Live our guest today, the one, the only, the hella talented Mr. Maxx Danziger. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. What an introduction. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Hey, man.
And for the record, yeah, I am a nice guy. I don't know what Mo or Destin or anyone else has been saying, but yeah, I'm a great guy.
Listen,
I appreciate that. Thank you.
to be fair, and this is the first story I'll throw out there. My first trip to the Hawk. Oh man, they're blowing up. We're gonna get to everybody in chat here in just a second. I promise. Walked into the Hawk, my first appearance down there. Walk in to check out the shows, check out what's going on. Who is the first person to walk up to me and say, "Hey man, nice to meet you. Appreciate what you're doing." Just a handshake and a walk out. That man right there, Mr. Maxx Danziger. And for me, I was like, wait a minute, why is this guy coming to shake my hand? I need to be going to shake his because that's how this is supposed to work. But 100%, it was one of those moments that I had to shake my head and be like, wait, did that just happen? And to take it a step further, when I saw you come out with the drumstick, I was like, oh, he's got a rock gimmick. Thought it was a gimmick. Started following you on Instagram, and like legit, the first one of the first posts I see from you that goes out there's not a wrestling post. It's you in front of thousands of fucking people with drumsticks in the air, man. And I'm just like, this is not a gimmick. I was 42 years old when I realized that Maxx Danziger is a legit platinum recording artist. Just fantastic.
I'm living the gimmick, baby. What can I say?
1,000.
No, it's been yeah, it's been great to kind of fuse those two worlds together and see. And as you mentioned before, I'm going to treat people the way that they treat me. If people show me respect and they're kind, then I will return that. For some reason, and I still haven't figured this out, but I had my first official singles match in December at the Hawk, and I hadn't spoken to these people before. I hadn't said anything, and I go out there, and there's a portion of people booing me for some reason and telling me that I suck, etc., etc. So I'm supposed to be nice to them? I'm supposed to shake their hand? No. I'm going to tell them that they're idiots. And I don't think that makes me a bad person. I think that just makes me someone with a spine.
Or honest.
Or honest. Yeah, I'm going to tell these people, I'm going to treat them exactly how they treat me. And then they call me a bad guy. You're the one who booed me. So, just twisted logic, truly.
No cause whatsoever. No cause. Toddy, welcome our fucking rock star to the show.
Welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have you here. I always enjoy watching what you do in the ring and on the stage. Truly an honor to be here with you and to fellowship with you tonight. So, welcome.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here. I've been watching the show for a while. Been seeing a couple of my wrestling buddies on here and watching them. So it's cool to be a part of it now.
It's we're glad you're here. Shout out to everybody in chat, guys. It's going so fast I can't keep up with everybody. So if you do have any questions for Max, if you can ask them, and we will get them worked into the conversation. I assure you. First things first. This is completely organic. There is no script. This is us sitting down and we're going to shoot the breeze about a lot of different things. Mainly, we talk about professional wrestling. But before I get there, man, like I said, I was 42 years old when I found out that Maxx Danziger is not a gimmick and he's legitimate bona fide, platinum fucking artist. With Set It Off. How does music come into your life, man? Because usually, people have many loves in their life. It's usually professional wrestling. When you're talking to a wrestler, man, but music obviously comes first with you, and I'm real interested to see and hear about that background and how you got into drumming.
Yeah, formative years around 8 or 9 years old. Funny enough, it's actually around the same time that I started watching wrestling. I was driving in the car to school. I was carpooling with a friend of mine, and "What's My Age Again" by Blink-182 came on the radio. And I had listened to to a lot of bands and artists beforehand. Like I remember listening to the Beach Boys with my mom growing up, and I loved that, and the Beatles and all these different bands, but I had never heard rock music like that, and specifically the drums. It was just all over the place, so fast, so fun, so aggressive, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I get home and I'm telling my sister, like, I heard the coolest song today, and she happens to have their CD. She gives me that CD. I still have it. I have worn that CD out. I played it over and over and over again. And I was watching videos of them, and Travis Barker just looked like he was having the time of his life. I'm an 8-year-old kid with ADHD. I'm bouncing off the walls. My dad says this might be a good place to put all this energy. And I started then. I had some trouble. So I guess growing up, I didn't know this until after. So good thing my dad didn't tell me at the time, because it might have discouraged me. But I guess I had a lot of dexterity issues and hand-eye coordination problems. My handwriting is still terrible to this day. But just through sheer force of will and a very, very long time of practicing, I got to a point, I was probably about 14 or 15, where I was finally good enough to start playing in bands. And, we were only playing in front of 4 or 5 people, but that feeling of performing, the adrenaline, the excitement, it stuck with me, and I've been chasing that feeling ever since. And I still get that same feeling every single time I perform, whether it's music, wrestling. There's something about it that nothing else can compare to.
Well, that's when you know that you've made the right choices in your profession. When it's not a job and it's fun, then you know that you've landed it and you've nailed it all the whole way around. I really think it's cool to hear the musical inspirations that you had growing up, and how that kind of formed you into the direction that you headed, and it's insane to see how far that you've come in such a short period of time. I do want to come over to chat real quick because I just saw a question, and it's regarding any kind of new music coming out. You guys working on a new album, or is there any kind of info that you could pass along to the chat?
I can spoil this now because Cody, our singer, already did, which is great because I'm terrible at. I'm the guy that ends up accidentally spoiling stuff generally within the band. But yeah, we are working on a new album, new songs. We're trying to get everything together. We're an independent band. We're not with a label, and we've been doing that since 2023. And so that allowed us the opportunity to kind of release music however we want. And we've been taking this single approach where we released our first independent single in beginning of 2023 and have just kind of been riding that wave. It was the first time we ever got radio play, and we've been building on that, and we think it's finally time to put everything together and make a a compilation of those. So that's all the information that I can give. And I've probably already said too much, but yeah.
Keep your eyes and your ears peeled and look out for that information, because it does sound like there's some work happening. Toddy, let me circle around to you real quick. Go ahead.
It's actually great to hear that you have that love for music, because I like to compare similarities. I have played the piano for like 12 years. I can read and write music, and never saw myself being so interested in wrestling. So kudos to you, and hearing how that journey got started, because I will wear albums out myself and people get sick of it. I'm like, don't ride with me if you don't want to hear this on repeat.
Oh, yeah.
So I want to talk about now. I want to hear. We got the music part, the wrestling. Like, what made you fall in love with that?
So around the same time, it was actually before I decided to play the drums. I was 7 years old, and my dad is a lifelong wrestling fan, and he happened to be watching Monday Night Raw. And I walk in, and I'm immediately entranced. I believe it was Dude Love and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Then some sort of like Dude Love was in some sort of corporate thing with Vince McMahon. I barely remember. Again, I was 7 years old, but I thought it was so cool. But what really drew me in, and for a little backstory, this all makes sense in a second. I have always been a massive Godzilla fan, and because of that, I've always loved monster movies, and then by extension, horror movies. And I saw Kane for the first time and absolutely lost my mind. I thought it was the coolest thing. It might still be the coolest thing that I've ever seen. It's a literal demon from hell, and he comes in and he beats people up. And I was like, there's nothing is ever going to top this. I need to watch this for the rest of my life. And I have. I still remember that feel. I'd walk around the house wearing the mask. I was entranced by it. It was all so cool.
Well, you say mask, and I kind of have to draw my attention to that snazzy little guy over there to your right. Yeah, when I saw you bring that bad boy out at the Hawk at Tournament of Champions, I almost lost my shit, because I was not expecting it. I was right there ringside, and you come bursting out with I went, dude. That yes. Is there any? Did you draw any inspiration from your younger years when you thought about putting that one together?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I again, my gimmick is me, essentially. But what I loved growing up was, and still do, is the kind of supernatural element, whether it's Kane, Undertaker, or, more recently Bray Wyatt, the Wyatt Six. Even though sometimes it may come off as a little corny, I let all of it slide because I love all of it so much. And this was kind of the closest way that I could tap into that without completely changing what I was doing. Mm-hmm. And it's something that I don't want to use every time. And I thought it was really cool. I wanted to try it. I was so happy to hear that other people really enjoyed it. And thank you. I appreciate that. But the second I put on the mask, I had a moment of thinking back to me at 7 years old and thinking, like, what would he think if he saw this moment right now? I'm about to walk out for a ladder match wearing this really, really cool mask. And it was just kind of a full circle moment for me.
It looks great. I am ecstatic on the inside that I was there for the debut of that thing, and nobody can take that away from me. I was there.
Yeah. Have you ever seen I can't remember the episode. There's a Twilight Zone episode where there's a man who's dying, and he gives all of his he's got all these like bratty like daughters and sons, and they want his inheritance, and he makes them wear the masks. Mm-hmm. And it turns them into the masks. This is kind of what the inspiration was. This is what people think I am, like a two-faced cocky snake. And so I decided to turn that into... Yeah, exactly. That's the ideas.
Well, let me
You want me
tell
to
you,
be the
Well, I
villain?
know-
I'll be the villain. I don't know what to tell you.
it
So
looks great on a
I,
shirt. Let me just say that.
thank
Go
you.
ahead,
I
Tyler.
appreciate that.
I'm pretty sure Renee was very happy because she's always talking about marketability, and I could see that on a video game. I could see that in movies. So I'm sure you made Mama Hawk very proud.
I appreciate that. Yeah, that's the first time I saw it, I scared her. So I think it works. I think it worked.
Real quick, I want to go over to chat to Ratchy does things. She only has a few minutes. Couple of quick questions here, and I don't think we're going to get answers to this, but I'm going to ask it anyway. When do you plan on cashing in the briefcase? Because they want to be there live when you do it.
Mm-hmm.
And your baby pistol now has a fur baby named after her. I hope to see you in July. Any plans for VIP for the festival? Sorry for all the questions. I made a promise. So,
All right, so we'll work backwards here.
Yes.
So any plans to do VIP for the festival? So that, generally speaking, is not up to us. It's usually the festival. So I would say no, because there's so many artists. It's hard for them all to do VIP. For those of you that don't know, Pistol is my cat. I've had her since 2011 now. She's just been my ride or die. She's been with me through it all. And that's amazing that now there is another animal named after her, which is fantastic. I would introduce you to her, but she hates being in one place for too long. So,
well,
like how cats do. So,
Pistol's got a lot of fans in chat. That's for damn sure. Let me.
oh yeah, she's arguably more popular than I am. And
Go ahead.
And then let's see. Oh, last one was when do you plan to cash in the briefcase? That is a wonderful question, and I obviously can't tell you because Matthew Ennis is probably watching because he's obsessed with me, apparently.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I do have a plan. And when I cash in and when I win is going to be an incredible moment. And we are finally going to have the greatest Hawk champion of all time.
And
so be on the lookout. You never know when it'll happen.
Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna get there. There's a lot to cover with that piece of business. And I find it very interesting and fascinating because, as you were talking earlier, I picked up on. I didn't know that you just debuted really in December. So literally 6 months at this point, 6 months in, and already created some waves. What I think is on top of that, take that into perspective. You're still touring. You're still doing. I mean, you're doing shows. You're making your shows with your band, and you're making your shows in Florida with the Hawk. Um, and then you get the opportunity to compete in the first ever ladder match at the HOC, and you're 5 months in, 4 months, 4.5 at that point maybe. Let's talk about all of that for just a second because you came into the Hawk obviously. It was the training school that you first the only training school that you went through. Everybody that we've talked to there has had such a great time. And something that we'll talk about in a minute is when you get that briefcase and how you got that briefcase and what happened afterwards. But that's a big piece of it is everyone seems to really focus on a family aspect there and making sure that everybody succeeds. How was your experiences going through training? What were some of the difficult things that it took for you to get a hold of versus stuff that came naturally? What I mean by that, it's like with me, I had issues with footwork when I was training. It took me a little bit to get that situated, but when I did, I was good to go. It just took time and energy to make that happen. What were some of your struggles, and how did you overcome them?
Well, so like I mentioned earlier, growing up, I had a lot of dexterity and hand-eye coordination issues. And because of that, I never played any sports. I've never played football, basketball, soccer, any of it. So joining the Hawk and learning how to wrestle, and even people who have done sports have said this, that it is so much harder than you think it's going to be. Stuff that you might think is simple, something as simple as running the ropes, is going to be about twice as hard as you think it's going to be. That being said, certain things came quicker. Certain things were more difficult. I had a lot of difficulty with footwork as well. Again, that comes with sports. That took me a little bit of getting used to, and I'm still trying to get a little bit crisper and smoother. I remember being very frustrated with flip bumps, which, for those of you that don't know, you're literally flipping and then you're landing on your back. I will say one of the benefits, and usually for a lot of people it's backwards, is the performing aspect, the storytelling aspect, the character stuff, promos, all that came pretty naturally. I've been doing that for a while in a different context, and that was, that's always been my favorite part of wrestling anyway. But a lot of the physical stuff past the foundation, right? So rolling, bumping, running the ropes, that all generally came pretty quick. It was putting it all together and figuring out the timing and where you need to be in the ring. These little things that you really can't learn in a day. I mean, there's obviously exceptions. You look at people like Kurt Angle, who stepped into a ring and then the next day he was the greatest wrestler of all time. But again, he had a background, things like that. A lot of these things just take reps. And you look at someone who's a year into the business and you look at someone who's 5 years into the business. And the only difference is that they had more time. They had more chances to kind of get in there and experience it. Every time especially a match, every time I have a match, I feel like I level up as a wrestler. And this is true for everything, not just wrestling. But if you're not constantly trying to get better or trying to get feedback or trying to work, then you're never going to get better. So there's always something to improve on. But I will say, and wrestling is not for everyone, but if I can do it, there is a very good chance that if you set your mind to it in some capacity, you can do it as well. Because I would not consider myself athletic compared to a lot of these people. I do weightlifting and things like that, but it's taken some time to get to a point where I feel confident in the ring.
I can only imagine. Real quick, I want to go to Peachy Dino in chat. They highlighted the message, so I just want to make sure that we got it across.
Oh, sure.
It says, Max, just want to say that you're amazing and that you, what does it say? And you and both of the boys are such an inspiration to them, that you helped them through so much and that they're very thankful. So
That's wonderful.
Just wanted to make sure I got that out there because that was definitely a highlighted message. Just to pass that across. And we see all your
I very much
questions.
appreciate that.
We see your questions coming in, guys. A lot of the stuff that we're going to get to here in just a few minutes as we loop into some of the wrestling stuff. I guarantee you're going to find some answers to what you're already asking. Toddy, let me come around to you.
I was about to say you beat me to the punch because you were asking those questions, and I was like, I guess I need to forego my questions to keep up with the chat because they're spending channel points, they're doing all sorts of stuff. They really love Max here, and I want to make sure that we don't miss anybody. So let's see. You read the highlighted comment.
Oh, Mo is in here. I don't know if you saw that.
Mo is in here.
Mo.
Yeah, we're gonna get to Mo in just a minute. Don't get too far ahead.
Who also can't seem to leave me alone. I'm pretty popular. I don't know what to tell you. So,
I mean, listen, as Toddy, have you already got some questions together from the chat?
I do.
Okay,
Peak
ahead.
Phoenix says, Max, I have a question. When you win the championship from Matthew, do you plan to defend it at any other company? And would you consider defending it internationally?
I would love to. I think that one of the biggest benefits of me being the Hawk champion, other than that I'll be the greatest Hawk champion of all time, is the visibility that will come with that. Whether I take that on tour and defend it on the road, or defend it at different companies, I would love to. I would love to show the world why the Hawk Championship matters, why it's so important. I would love to boost the prestige of that, and I think I could be the person to do it.
The next one's from Starry Space. What's your favorite wrestling move?
Oh, that's tough.
Chokehold.
That I can do, or wrestling move in general?
Chokehold.
Arm
bar.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, nice headlock, probably. My favorite move is probably when someone takes a chair and then hits someone in the knee with the chair really hard, and then they fall off a ladder. That's probably my favorite move.
Oh,
and then they can't stand up. That's even better.
Oh, the shade.
And the smirk that comes after it was what was hysterical to me. Now, I want to talk a little bit real quick, Toddy. If you could keep kind of rolling some questions from the chat, and when I pivot to you, we'll go there, and we'll kind of bounce back and forth that way, so we make sure we don't miss anybody, because we do appreciate all of you that have come in to sit down and join us with this conversation. We do want to make sure we get to everybody. Let's talk a little bit about Mo. Mo's been on the show. I think Mo's a great guy. It looks like the work that you two have done thus far, it's generated attention. It's generated interest. And in my opinion, I don't think you're done. I think that there's definitely a blow off that needs to happen between you two. But it's almost like your feud kind of carried into the ladder match, and it's kind of what got us to the ladder match. So let's talk a little bit about, your your I'm not gonna say your hatred, because I don't think you hate the guy. Just, you beat him with a drumstick, and you took the opportunity to pull the briefcase down from him. Your perspective, your side of the equation. Like I said, we've got Mo's. I'm really curious to get yours.
I think the way that this and I'm not going to put this entirely on Mo. You'll be shocked, but the fans, Mo, they have this notion that I'm some horrible guy, and they boo me and they tell me I suck and they tell me I'm awful. When all that I'm doing is competing, trying to be the best. The thing about Mo is that he has a ceiling that is so unbelievably high. He has so much potential. The guy is unbelievably strong. He has a charisma that you can't teach. When he walks out, people take notice. He's so agile. He has all of the tools necessary to be one of the greatest of all time. The problem, and is up here, the biggest difference between me and Mo is that Mo is so focused on everyone else. He wants everyone to like him. He wants to make sure that he's doing the right thing in their eyes. And he's not focused on the most important thing, which is what I'm focused on. Myself. Winning. Being the best. The last time I checked, that's the point of wrestling. To be the best, to compete, to be the absolute best. You hear a lot of people say, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to be the greatest. I'm actually willing to do whatever it takes, even if that means that people out in the crowd don't agree with my tactics, or that Mo is upset. But Mo is so focused on all these things. Oh, Maxx didn't play by the rules. Maxx didn't play fair. Maybe if he was less focused on that and more focused on himself, the outcome would have been different. But I just can't sit here and allow these people to slander my name anymore. I'm just doing what needs to be done. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I want to pivot and get into the ladder match here, because as you stole the thunder a little bit, because that closing stretch. First of all, let me commend all of you guys on the match. I said it on many streams before, and I'll say it again. Being there live for that was very special on a lot of different reasons for me. Not only as a podcaster, as a fan of wrestling and being in the ring at one point in time in my life. That night was special the entire way around. You look at the crowning of the first women's champion, you had the first ladder match. I mean, you got surprise fucking finish that we'll get to a little bit later on for the show. You guys went out there and worked your asses off, and it showed. And I think what I said to Mo after the show, or maybe you, I said too, uh, was that, and you can correct me if it was, I talked to so many people while I was there. What I genuinely appreciated about that ladder match is that it was safe. There was no egregious, out of place spots. This was everyone. I think maybe Blanco. It could have been his first ladder match too.
My first thought was, this is insane. I can't believe this is happening. I haven't had many matches. And it just goes to show that anything can happen in wrestling. That one of my first matches was a multi-man ladder match. I think I would have been a lot more nervous if Keikoa wasn't a part of the match. He's my coach. He was the one telling me, like, don't worry, we're going to make sure that everything is fine. And on top of all this, by the way, the ladder match is already scary enough. I am on tour while this is happening. We're playing a show in North Dakota, and then we have a day off in Minneapolis. So I fly home from Minneapolis the day of the ladder match, get in, have to have that ladder match, and then fly back out on tour. So the whole time I'm thinking, all right, I need all of my limbs to be in the right place when I'm done with this match so that I can go back and play in Milwaukee. So there was a lot of jitters, a lot of fear beforehand, a lot of things that I have never been superplexed before. There was a lot of firsts. I've never been thrown into a ladder before. There were a lot of firsts for me. I'm also scared of heights. I don't know if I've mentioned this. So a lot to be nervous about. But again, as soon as the music hit and I walked out and I felt the crowd, the adrenaline hit, and I was ready. And I had no fears, no jitters. I knew that everything was going to be fine. And it was. And I ended up walking home with this briefcase, which, by the way, real quick, I just wanted to point out in what I was saying earlier about how there's this notion that I'm somehow not doing things the right way. If you go back and listen to the end of that match, after I grabbed the briefcase, the commentator says that I cheated. It's a no disqualification match.
Yeah. No.
Anything goes. There's weapons. There's ladders. How did I cheat? What did I do?
No,
Just another way that people, they try to invalidate my success, and I think it's because they see me and they see my success, and it's like a funhouse mirror, and it reminds them that they're losers, and they get mad at me for it. I don't know what to tell you. That's not to say everyone. There are people in the crowd who are cheering me, and thank you for that. They have taste. But these people that keep coming up with the excuses, it's just, yeah, it's sad.
Well,
So,
let's go to
I just
that.
wanted to point that out.
I mean, you go to the crowd for that ladder match for Tournament of Champions. There's a Danziger fucking section. Merch rocked. Everyone in a t-shirt. It was like truly fantastic to see. It was like I put that and Ivy Mercer's family side by side as like, okay, you guys, now you have a following, and it's legit, and it's there's no bullshit behind that. I mean, hell, even look at this show tonight. I mean, there's 20 new people that have come in here and are hanging out with us on this. So it's like it's wild. And you didn't cheat, and this is where I have to,
Thank you.
give the devil's due is, there's difference between cheating and exploiting the rules. You didn't do any of those because there is no disqualification in a ladder match.
It goes back to saying I'm willing to do whatever it takes and actually doing whatever it takes. But I'm so incredibly grateful for anyone that is either a fan of me or a fan of Set It Off. That is still so surreal to me that that there are people cheering me on. I think it's an incredible feeling. And again, you have taste. You're all wonderful people. The first time I walked out there for a wrestling match, there was such a mix of cheers and boos. And I wasn't sure at the time, in my head, I'm going, is this bad? Am I doing something wrong? You learn later that any reaction is a good reaction. And in fact, getting both cheered and booed at that level is a rare thing. There's only a couple people that come to mind when you think of that kind of reaction, John Cena. Mm-hmm. And am I saying that I'm on the same level or that we're the same? I mean, we both have platinum records, but there's still some work to be done on my end on the wrestling side. But yeah, it's all just about getting that reaction and seeing people who are a fan of Set It Off going out of their way to come check out wrestling, people who had maybe never been to an independent wrestling show, and then falling in love with wrestling is such an incredible thing. I've been saying this since I started, but there's such a big crossover between music and wrestling. There always has been. I mean, you look at all these rock stars that are performing at WrestleMania, and even we just played this festival, Rockville, in Daytona. And I saw so many, NXT stars and independent stars just walking around, enjoying the show. So I think that's something that hasn't fully been tapped into yet. There's a couple people that I know that have kind of made the journey from wrestling to music or music to wrestling, but it's just wonderful to see. It's wonderful to see it all come together.
It's so beautiful when it's played together. And you're right. There's a connection to rock and roll. It dates back to the 80s, the
Mm-hmm.
Cyndi Lauper days of going into WrestleMania. Um, it's so wild to me that you're on tour, crushing it. You're you're living, as they say, on the edge of a razor blade, if you will, traveling back and forth and making the commitments to be there. When you pull down that briefcase, now, and then Toddy, will come around to you next so we can get some questions from the chat and questions from you as well. When you pull down that briefcase, and this is why I say the Hawks about making moments. It's a big deal, number one, to now be the first, not only in your first ladder match and be a part of the first ladder, you win the first ladder match. So let's add that into the pot, and then we walk through that curtain, and someone says to you, "Hey man, did you open that?" And you get, I talk about moments. I talk about moments that are made. I talk about how the Hawk goes out of their way to create those moments for you guys that will last forever. I really want to get your perspective and your point of view. You've just had this, grueling ladder match. You came out on the winning end of it. And oh, by the way, here's your certificate. You've completed everything that you need to complete. You're greenlit. You can go work wherever you want to go work.
Woo! I mean, it's a moment I'll never forget. Thinking back to not only when I started training, but just as a kid, feeling like I was never going to be able to do something on that level athletically. All of that is going through my mind. And again, I'm thinking about all the frustration that I had trying to figure out everything and putting it all together in your mind. Again, for anyone who has never wrestled before, there's so much going on physically, mentally. It's insane to try and put it all together and to try and make it all work. And a lot of times it feels impossible, especially when you're first starting out. Thinking about all that as Kay told me to open the briefcase and seeing proof that you are good enough to do this. This is something that you can pursue. And on top of that, being surrounded by this family. I haven't seen them in a month. I've been gone for a month. I come back and everyone is around. I'm hugging everyone. It's something that I think creating that moment is something that sets the HOC apart from a lot of other schools. They really, really put in that extra effort to make it special. Because that is what wrestling is at the end of the day. It's creating moments for the fans, for a lot of times, for the people who are in there, in the ring, working, for everyone. That's the stuff that everyone remembers. And that's a moment that I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. I'm so incredibly grateful that I was able to have that moment and that the HOC made that happen for me. And I'll never forget it.
It's not one that you could forget. Go ahead, Toddy.
It was truly genuine. You could feel the sentiment. I think I told Ivy Mercer the same thing I'll say to you. Like when I watched it on Instagram, I wasn't crying. You were crying, but but it was truly special. I do want to come over to the comments. Peachy Dino cashed in some channel points. He says, "When I get married, please, please, please come and do a wrestling match."
Yeah,
And
sounds good. Let me know when. If you find a ring and a worthy opponent, let me know. I'll be there.
Chelsea Gamble 20 says, "Set it off, saved my life." Silver Speedy agreed with her, and so did Peachy Dino. I think that was great. We've got UK Paul, one of our CCP podcasting family members. He says, "I totally get that about falling in love with wrestling. I attended my first wrestling show just 4 years ago, and I've never looked back."
It's incredible. And I know we mentioned this earlier, but a lot of people start off, watching WWE or something that they've seen on TV, but getting to go to an independent show, which I hadn't been to a Florida show until I started training. It's a totally different experience. It's incredible. You can see how hungry these people are. And that's not to say that, obviously at the top level, it's, best of the best. You're going to get an amazing show as well, but it's just something different. Like, if you are a fan of wrestling and maybe you've been to, a WWE event or something, you should give indie wrestling a shot. It is so fun. Such a incredible, different flavor of ice cream.
And I guess I have to ask this because this is now the 5th time it has appeared in chat, and I did see it earlier, guys. I promise. Max, quick question: Will you be at the June 19th match at the HOC? You've been asked by various people.
Yeah, that is a great question. I am. So originally, I came home, and I'm assuming that I was going to have a match, but I didn't look at the calendar beforehand, and so me and Sarah had booked a trip to St. Augustine. So I will not be there, but I did see that Mo and Ennis are both, having a match for my championship. And I just hope that they both beat each other senseless. I don't like either of them, so I will be I'll be rooting from afar, but yeah, just bad timing on my part, but I believe hopefully I'll be home for a while before we head back out on the road, so I should be at some HOC events in the future, and I'm looking forward to getting back in the ring.
You say HOC, we talked about the ladder match, we talked about, getting that certificate in that moment, because I truly think that moments like that are to be cherished. Let's cut the bullshit and let's get to the brass tacks here. We had Matthew Ennis on last Thursday, and I know you saw the clips that went out there. And one thing about Ennis is if he doesn't do anything, he runs his fucking mouth.
Oh yeah,
Had some not so pleasant things to say about you. Had some not so pleasant things to say about possible challengers for the championship in general. What's Why has he got such a fucking hard on for you? Actually, you know what? Let's backtrack. Let me ask you a real question. Do you think do you think it'd be that easy to occupy so much free rent in somebody's head without having to do anything at all?
But look, this is the thing. Even before I had any sort of interaction with him, right? I'm having a match with Destin to qualify for the Champions Contract ladder match, right? I've pretty much got it in the bag. Everything is going, according to plan. And then Ennis decides to come out during my match and interfere. And I get it, man. Like you're going to be on TV, like on YouTube with me, a lot of visibility on there. I understand wanting to be on screen at the same time that I am. But I thought it was a little strange. And then come to find out later, I'm playing a show in North Carolina, and he shows up to the show in North Carolina. Now he's messaging my fans. Frankly, I think he might be the biggest Maxx Danziger fan of all time. Like, He talks about me more than anyone. But what I will say about Matthew Ennis is I'm so glad that he won that championship. If I had cashed in on Patty or George or any of these other people, I don't know what the reaction would have been. But if I cash in on Matthew Ennis, all those people that boo me, they're going to treat me like a hero. They might not like me, but they hate Matthew Ennis. They're going to turn, like, the crowd's going to act like, I don't know, like Mo just won the championship. You know, they love Mo. So well, I don't know what it is about him and his obsession with me, but I do understand the fear. Someone of my caliber holding a championship opportunity at any time, they can cash that in. I understand being nervous, but the way that he's acting is, you know, it's classic Ennis. So.
I mean, I call him the biggest crybaby on the face. I even brought a sign, man, and the fucker ripped it up. Like I went out of my way to make sure baby Ennis was a thing, and he didn't even, no thank you, no nothing, just ripped the sign and like walked away.
It's similar to what I was saying with Mo. Is like he's got so much potential. He's so strong. He has so much aggression that he can use. I mean, you see him in matches and he's decimating people. The problem is up here, man. Like, he's so focused on what I'm doing that he's going to end up slipping up.
All right. To me, go ahead, Tony.
He put it out there into the universe on Instagram, and I'm going to ask on behalf of everybody, did you actually have his car towed?
I can't comment on that. I can't say yes or no, but I will say that he was supposed to come to practice Tuesday when I was there, and he did have a flat tire. So
that's unfortunate.
Again, I can't say for sure that it was or was not me for legal reasons. But
we can't confirm nor deny. We just know that he had a problem. Like I tried to tell him when he threw that out there. It's like, man, at least your car's paid for. He didn't get the joke.
Yeah.
He didn't. I was like, well, all right. If you don't get it, man, you don't get it. That's okay.
Yeah, you're going to show up to my show and try and fight me. Maybe it's karma. I don't know what to tell you.
For a guy who constantly looks like he's constipated, he flaps off at the mouth frequently. And speaking of Ennis, and this is where I really find this booking very interesting between he and Mo, because I don't think your issues with Mo are resolved yet. I think that there's some singles that's going to have to happen.
Again, Mo has an issue with me. Mo's the one that keeps following me around. I'm just trying to become HOC champion. So if he's got an issue, I don't know what to tell you.
Essentially, it doesn't matter whoever has the belts on your fucking radar. Do you have a preference coming out of this, or does it matter between Ennis or Mo? Because I do believe that if Ennis comes out of this with the champion as champion, and you go ahead and just take that from him, all the haters in the HOC are going to turn into appreciators. If Mo has that belt and you lift it off of Mo, you'll never be forgiven again. Not that matters to you, but your preference on an opponent.
If I had to choose, I still think for whatever reason there is a lot of debate over who's better, me or Mo. Because of however these matches ended in the past or whatever. I really want to clear that up.
What's the record book say?
That's what I'm saying.
Oh.
Yeah. So to be fair, we had a tag match and he pinned Baracco, which is not my fault. But again, for some reason, every time there's some sort of excuse or there's something, and I would love to put this to bed once and for all. Who's better? And then we can finally move on with our lives. Again, I think Mo has so much talent, but very similar to Ennis, is just obsessed with me for some reason. So I'd love to finally put an end to that.
Ennis is just a little shit. That's all he is. I just keep it real. I tried to be nice, and I have been nice to him. I was very respectful towards him when he was on our show. He chose not to be respectful, and that's his prerogative and his opinion. And if it is Ennis who leaves with his championship, I have no qualms whatsoever in watching you punch him in the fucking face.
Again, I would love to hear the cheers. But it sounds like what it really sounds like is that you need to come out of retirement, and it seems like you and Ennis need to solve your differences.
Listen, if they're first of all, you have seen me. I'm a little out of shape. It won't take no time to fix that. I've thrown the gauntlet down. If there's somebody out there that wants to fucking book it, I need about 3 months to get by. I haven't been in the ring in 25 years.
Yeah.
22 years. Sorry. And I'll come in. I will do it. I have no problems with it whatsoever.
I would like to see it.
I have brought it up several times because I have again. I could see me punching him in the face. Again, I don't expect any fucking lavish results by any means if something like that was to happen. Because again, it's been 2 decades. But I'll come in there and fight, no problem. I ain't got a problem doing that. And I do want to punch him in the face too. But I will live vicariously through others who get the opportunity to do that. Much like Toddy will as well. Toddy, let me come around to you.
We have a highlighted message from Peachy Dino. Thank you for all these channel points that you're acquiring and spending. I have a question that I forgot to ask you at VIP, but who is your favorite wrestler, just in general? And if no one, then what's your favorite Set It Off song?
Such a loaded question. It changes every day. It all depends on, I don't know if I can pick a favorite. I've got there's so many and for so many different reasons, but
we'll broaden it. Top 5.
See, again, that would change. Because are we talking like the saying best or just my personal, the ones that I enjoyed watching?
Your personal.
Yeah, he's saying yours in general for you.
I would say as far as like most influential to me that I watched and went, wow, I want to do that. Shawn Michaels, Nick Nemeth is definitely up there. I loved Jeff Hardy, still do love Jeff Hardy, and this is something that I feel like doesn't get talked about enough. Is yes, all of the high flying stuff is so cool. The charisma, you can't teach that charisma. If he never did any of the high flying stuff, still a superstar. It's something you can't teach. It's incredible. Man. Kane, because he was the reason that I, got to get one. Kane or Bray, you could like interchange those. I know that I'm forgetting people. Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's an easy answer, but one of the things I loved about Stone Cold is that he worked heel and got babyface reactions. I love the idea that he just did whatever he wanted, and people were like, "Yeah, this is great. We love you no matter what you do." That's that's something that is very rare. So,
well, let me.
But that you asked me tomorrow, the list is going to be different tomorrow. So,
go ahead, Tony.
So you have a couple of questions from Adzel. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. I sincerely apologize. Would you ever bring back the VIP song and break off groups back for your next headline tour? Would you ever wear the mask on tour? When will Sarah have her debut match? And he says that he loves you and you're the king.
That's great. So one of an incredible benefit, like this is a good thing, but good problems. The Set It Off shows have gotten bigger, which means more people coming to VIP. So a lot of stuff we had to end up, we had to figure out how to make space for everyone. The song specifically is like, it's just for Cody, for any singer, right? Going out there and having to sing an hour and a half every single night is tough, but then also having to add on top of that, doing another song in the middle of the day, it just gets to be too much. So yeah, the system that we found seems to work pretty well as far as VIP, but we're always looking to make things better and improve. So when will Sarah have her debut match? So Sarah is so busy, like busier than I am right now. She's actually out on the road. So I came home and she left. But so she hasn't had a lot of time to train. But what I would love to do, and we've talked about this, is having her manage. I think that would be fantastic. She is an unbelievable actor. She has so much experience. She's so good. She's one of the sweetest people that you will ever meet in your entire life, and she plays the mean girl so well. So I definitely think there's something there. We've talked a lot about that. And then what was the last question? Was that it? The mask. The mask on maybe. Yeah, that's actually, who knows? Again, it's all about, I would love to at some point kind of interweave these things, but only if it makes sense, So never say never.
First of all, when I hear the notion of the better half possibly being a manager, I immediately go to Savage and Sherry Martel, as
okay.
as what could be a possible comparison. Old school, because I'm a throwback guy. Could
Yeah, I
you
love that.
imagine that for just a minute? Like the pair of you working a crowd together? Dude.
Yeah. We've talked a
Jeez.
lot. I mean, we've done a lot of tape study on Edge and Lita.
Yep.
And
Yep.
yeah, there's so many routes you can go down. And again, when you meet her, you'll understand, but she just is like a little ray of sunshine that walks into a room. Like everyone is immediately drawn to this person, and then she can just turn it on and be so mean. She can really just act like I don't even know how. You just have to see it. She's so good. Again, she had a lot of experience doing all kinds of acting, but working at Halloween Horror Nights. Her job was literally to scare people. So, yeah, she's got talent in spades, and I would love to do something like that in the future. But again, she's booked and busy. So
let's talk a little bit about what's on your left-hand side. And I happen to see a snazzy championship belt that got freshly minted as the real world's heavyweight champion, as far as the HOC is concerned. Talk to me about that. What made you want to get a belt made? And first of all, the fact that you incorporated the face on the plate is dope as fuck. I love it.
thank you. I
And
appreciate that.
chat me up.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I was hit up by a company. I tagged them on Instagram, so you can check them out. They make great custom belts. But they contacted me and said, "Hey, do you want a custom belt?" And again, another bucket list moment for me. Another dream of mine is to have that. So of course I was going to say yes. Just kind of getting used to the feeling of having a championship. What I do with this, I haven't quite figured out yet.
You
But
take it, you just dangle it in front of Matthew's face or Mo's
yeah, there we
face.
go. Yeah, there's the possibilities are endless, but yeah, it was just one of those moments of I had an opportunity, I went for it. I was blown away by the reaction. I mean, I thought it was cool for me personally, but to see other people resonate with it was pretty awesome. So, yeah, there's a chance that you see this in the future. Who knows?
I mean, I think you call yourself the real world's champion, and you may not be at the Hawk every show, but busy man do busy things, and defending that belt and making tours all over the world, all over the United
Oh yeah, I think
States.
this one will be coming on tour for
Yeah,
sure.
it should be. Every show is an opponent, so you go
Oh
undefeated with
yeah,
you loop it in. You go undefeated with your shows, right? So like,
I love it. I love it.
how many defenses have you had? Ennis? One. I did 6 last week. Why don't you keep up, fucker? something like that.
Oh yeah, that's great. That is something fun that we've talked about in the future is being on the road. Obviously, there are wrestling shows everywhere. We've got these days off. If it happens to fall on a day in a city where there's a show, why not wrestle and play music at the same time? So there's a possibility. I'd love to start getting out there and seeing what the rest of the country has to offer, the rest of the world, as far as it goes with wrestling and what talent they have.
Well, Toddy will come around in just a few minutes to get some more questions from the chat. If you have questions too, Toddy, we'll get them in for sure. When you talk about, traveling around with wrestling and seeing where it takes you, where's some bucket list places that you would like to compete in? It can be here in the States. It could be internationally. The beautiful thing about our channel is we're well connected to a lot of different people all over the world. So if we can steer you in the right direction by getting you to talking to some people, then that's exactly what we would do. But I would need to know, where would you like to go? Like, where do you see yourself taking off to?
I mean, where wouldn't I? I mean, obviously in the States, anywhere that I can. Japan would be incredible. The UK, all these different flavors. I mean, you hear stories about people going to these places and learning and picking up these different styles. I think it's something that would be an incredible learning experience and just an amazing bucket list moment. I think, anything involving TV, I love working the camera. So that's definitely a dream of mine in some format. And there's wrestling has exploded over the last couple of years, and there's so many options of places that have shows, whether it is on YouTube or cable or wherever on streaming services. There's so many opportunities for wrestlers, and I'd love to find one that works for me. Love to try them all. So
Okay. Well, we will chat as we do, and I will slide you
I
some
appreciate
names
it.
of some people to talk to. Toddy, come around to you.
Okay, we got another channel point cash in from Peachy Dino. Last question, I swear, but as a cosplayer, I'm curious. Can you see very well out of the mask? The design and detail is absolutely stunning. Can't wait to draw more fan art for you. I drew Max Vinyl lore today.
That's incredible. So the short answer is yes. You can see pretty well out of it. It's if you look really closely, it's going to focus. You can kind of see through it. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I didn't think that I would talk about this, but I figure you should probably know because it's hilarious. If you watch that ladder match, I don't know if they got it on video. I opened the curtain and immediately tripped on a chair. I'm so glad that no one saw it because I thought it was going to be like a Shockmaster type situation. But we recovered. Everything was fine. So yes, you can see out of it, but I wouldn't say that you can see clearly out of it. Like I wouldn't be able to wrestle in this. But yeah, you got to be careful. Watch out for those chairs.
Here's what I knew that something was up with that, because the moment you got around the ring, that fucker came off. And I didn't know what happened. I knew that something was happening. I just didn't know what it was. But now to hear
Oh yeah,
the backstory to it makes it even funny.
yeah. I went in a little too excited, and again, almost had a full Shockmaster. So.
Sarah got a lot of compliments in here. Wilson Dyer's in the chat. He says hello.
Hey.
And he talked about Sarah's character work is truly on point. I'm going to paraphrase this one question because he's answered it twice, but Mac Lovecio says that at the next tour, and hopefully you have some more this year, that they have some gifts to give you guys that they couldn't give you at VIP. So I know
sweet.
you know what that means better than I do.
Yeah, that's very sweet. Thank you.
Some compliments on your gear. The belt is seriously so cool.
Thank you. Oh, I do see one here, highlighted message from the Gothic one that says, I'm a big rock fan. Did you take your last name from the band Danzig? That's my shoot name. Maxx Danziger. That's my real name. I can't tell you how many times throughout my life I've told people my name and they have asked me if I'm related to Glenn. I might be. I'm not sure, but I am a big Misfits fan. I like some of the Danzig stuff as well. But yeah, that's my government name.
Oh,
Yeah.
go ahead, Tony. What else?
Again, living the gimmick.
Yeah,
You know?
100%.
Well-
And they say that the best and the most successful professional wrestlers are those who are themselves. So here we are. Go figure.
Yeah. It is true. I mean, even if it's depending on how much of yourself you want to put in to your character, I think the more the better. But it is this weird, almost introspective experience where you have to go, who am I as a person? And how do other people perceive me? And how can I then throw that back at them, like with the volume turned up to 11?
Mhm.
It takes some time. Like this, because it's not even a persona. It's just, me or how people perceive me. But still figuring it out. Every time I get into that ring, I learn something, or I'm like, oh, this is interesting, and it's constantly evolving, as people do. So
Oh my God. So if I didn't get to your question, I tried my best to get everything on the air. You guys have been totally wonderful. And I feel like this is old Matthew Ennis who has entered the chat. And he says, what did Max do to Slothy? Because only he would name himself Violence Achieved 81.
Can I be honest with you guys?
Sure.
I'm gonna be so honest with you guys.
I was hoping that you were being honest the entire conversation.
I go out there, right? I put on a show. I try and perform to the best of my ability for these people, and they boo me. And a human sloth, comes out, biggest pop of the night. People love the sloth. So excuse me if I think that it's possible that the people out in this crowd might be idiots. Figure it out, people. Thank God that sloth got kidnapped. Thank God. Ugh.
Did someone say dance? That's the next comment.
Oh, don't get me started on DDR. Don't get me started on DDR. The Hawk is full of characters. I'll say that.
That's
So,
for damn sure. Guys in chat, you've got a few more minutes to drop in some last minute questions. I've got a couple more for you. We'll start winding this thing down, man. First of all, I appreciate all the time that you've given us tonight to sit down and just chat with you about everything you got going on.
thanks for having me.
Last two questions on my side of the coin and I'll tell you why I ask you once I get your answers to them. It's a two-part. The first part of the question is, when I say this, I think you'll know what I mean. Who should we be watching as far as on the independent scene that, you think that we should take a peek at?
There's so many. There's some choices here that, like, you look at guys like Big Boy Patty, Reese. These are guys who, like, I almost don't need to say their name because they're already making so many waves in the independent world. Destin is another one. Destin is a senior in high school, and he is already so good. Casey Rocker is another one. He has had a couple matches at the Hawk, but he has been doing this for a while. Incredible. His strikes, so crisp. I've learned a lot from him. He's so talented. Outside of people that we've talked about, man, I mean, there's so many people at the Hawk specifically that are just so good. Everyone on those shows are incredible. Outside of the Hawk, Warden, if you haven't checked out Warden, big guy, very athletic. Mikey Spandex, if you haven't seen Mikey Spandex,
I got my first
Again.
exposure to him, and I'm a fan.
Yeah, a lot of charisma, and also one of the strongest people that I've ever met. He's one of those people that does CrossFit, but then can lift like 8,000 pounds. High flyer. He does a little bit of everything. He's great. Man, Chuck, Kid Kuda. If you haven't seen Kid Kuda, another Hawk guy who is absolutely unbelievable. I'll even say Mo. You know what? I'll say Mo. And I've mentioned this before. So talented, so much potential. Just leave me alone, man. But you're really good. Unfortunately, Ennis is, if you like a good hard hitting match, he's gonna beat people up. He's gonna be annoying when he does it, but he's gonna beat people up. Kelsey Reagan, Ivy Mercer. Man, I mean, the list goes on and on. There's so many talented people. And the women's of Jayla Heights. I can't believe I forgot about Jayla. If you haven't seen Jayla, she just recently came back to the Hawk and started working matches there again. So good. So good. Funny story with Jayla. Everything came so naturally to her in wrestling. I was really frustrated with my flip bumps. And so I was going around, I was asking people, hey, what did you do for this? Did you have trouble with this? What tips did you have? And I asked Jayla, and she went, I got it on my first try. I don't know what to tell you. So that just goes to show how much of a natural athlete and how naturally gifted she is. Yeah, I'm sure I'm leaving a bunch of people out, but there's so much good talent out there. And every time you go to a show, I mean, especially in Florida, if you go to a show out here, you're destined to find someone who's going to blow you away.
Oh, absolutely. See, I asked you that question because, as you know, our platform's independent wrestling, and that is legitimately it. It's all over the world. It's thriving. It's flourishing. Every continent's blowing up, and the best way that we can evolve our platform is by getting recommendations off of guys like you who are in the ring with these people on a regular basis that we may not see. Not because they're not talented, not because they don't deserve the light to be put on them, but because there's legitimately so much wrestling everywhere, you can't keep up with everything. And it's a way that our platform moves forward. So what happens is we take those names and we add them to our internal sheets, and between spotlight shows, between full show watch-alongs to what have you, we will find something that has them attached to it, and we'll watch it and get them in front of our audience as well. It's a way for us to pay it forward. Because without you guys in the ring, we don't have anything to watch. Without the companies out there putting it together, we don't have anything to watch. So it's best to watch those that are recommended from you guys. You never know what you'll see, what hidden gem we'll stumble across next.
I appreciate it, and I appreciate the visibility. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh no, you're fine. You're for 100% fine. This next question, this is what I call my $1 million question, because this is definitely clippable. Yeah, so in advance, and you don't know about this one. Dream matches for you. Who do you want to get in the ring with? Whether it be on the independent scene, whether it be mainstream, what's some of Maxx Danziger's, bucket list opponents?
That is such a good question. No one has ever asked me that before.
You're a professional wrestler, and nobody's ever asked you about your dream match.
No one's ever asked me my dream match.
Oh,
yeah, man.
Those guys are fired.
First one that comes to mind is Nick Nemeth. Just, again, a show stealer. So talented. Big inspiration for me. Man, there's so many of people that I've trained with that I've never had an actual match with, which is unbelievable. Me and Patty have never had a match. What? Me and Kid Kuda have never had a match. Me and Casey Rocker have never had a one-on-one match. So me and Ennis have never had a one-on-one match. I'd love to work with all of them. Man, getting in the ring with some of the people I grew up watching. Jeff Hardy would be unbelievable. Man, you're putting me on the spot here. There's so much talent. There's so many living legends who are still doing it right now, and so many up and comers that are so good that if I gave you my full list, we'd be here for the next 7 hours. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to get back to you on that.
We'll take what we got for damn sure, because those are some pretty impressive names. And I say that, and I ask that question because, not to toot our own horn or anything, but we've had a lot of
Sorry to interrupt. One more, Matt Cardona. That's
yeah.
big fan of what he's doing. I think that a big thing about wrestling, and one of the most underrated things about wrestling, is marketing yourself. You know, getting yourself over, not just in the ring, but outside of the ring. Such an inspiration to see this empire that he has created and how much visibility he's brought to independent wrestling. And he's also just a damn good wrestler. He's good. So, yeah, sorry to interrupt. That was
No,
the
no,
one just
no.
came to mind.
No, I say that because, again, I want to put it out there into the universe. We've had some successes getting some of these things taken care of, and if that's, again, a small piece of what we can do, is to throw it out there and let the manifestation period begin, brother, then that's exactly what the fuck we're gonna do. Um, it's been fantastic thus far to have you in, and I know that we've got several more questions from the chat, and we'll get ready to wrap it up after we run through these. Toddy, what do you got?
The first highlighted question that we have is from Starry Space. Uh, let's see. Next wrestling move idea: pull out your mask and shove it in your opponent's face so that they are blinded, and then spear them. I don't know. That was his comment.
That's great. Yeah, I think that's a wonderful idea. Again, I'll do whatever it takes to win. So if it comes to that, then so be it.
I'm going to come back to, because they're on an ad break and I know he can't see it. He won't be able to hear it. So I'm going to come back to that one question. A lot of people going after Ennis in the chat. I love to see it. Couldn't happen to a better person.
I mean, when you got the real world's champion right here on your screen, you know, the placeholder is not really that relevant.
That is very, very true. We have a question. Did you commission an artist for your mask, out of curiosity?
Yes. So the original design was done by Tyler. I can't believe McFadden is his last name. Completely blanked on his last name. Great guy. If you ever need designs done, he's unbelievable. He does so much work for so many people, and he was literally the first person I thought of when I needed a wrestling design. And so then I took that and found a 3D artist named Veronica, who I tagged her in my post. Haven't met her yet. She seems lovely. I had low expectations just in general about getting a custom mask made. I had never done it before. I assumed it was going to be like, I don't know, Spirit Halloween quality or something. So, I hit her up and I'm like, hey, whatever you can do, just happy to have any kind of mask. And she went above and beyond. I mean, it's 3D printed, but the detail, she hand painted it, the fit, the all of this, it's just unbelievable. So again, she's tagged in my post about the mask, but just so talented. Yeah, so those two together kind of created what is now this mask.
Wilson Dyer cashed in some channel points. He says, what are your thoughts on Wilson Dyer?
What are my thoughts on Wilson Dyer? I've been seeing Wilson Dyer working some shows out at the establishment, and the one thing about Wilson Dyer is that he has confidence. He talks about his viral following, which I think my cat has more followers than him on Instagram, but it's about the confidence, and that's what matters. No, seriously, I think he does a great job of eliciting a reaction from the crowd. I haven't actually gotten to see him work yet. I haven't seen him any of his matches. I've only seen clips, but It's always great to see a good character and to see someone get a reaction, because that is, the highest form of compliment in wrestling is when people react to what you're doing.
Well, I will forego my last question, but I will make a statement instead. And I thought it was very important to do that because, as I say, when he asked me, what do I have to say to the people, I always tell you guys what I think of you. So you guys are more important than anything I have to ask. But Max, I do want to say to you, thank you for being here with us tonight. I think that you're an incredible performer, both in the ring and on the stage. And the fact that you live by your own values and your own morals, and you don't care what anybody else thinks. You just go out there, you have a job to do, and you get it done. And you are still down to earth, and you treat people the way that they treat you. It says a lot about who you are. I know that by this time next year, because we hope you come back for part 2 or part 3,
I'd
we
love
want to
to.
see more of you and what you're going to do. I can't wait to see where you're going to be a year from now. The sky is the limit, and people like you absolutely work hard and earn and deserve everything that they get. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And again, thank you guys for giving myself and other independent wrestlers a platform like this. Again, the visibility and the ability to talk about our love of this crazy thing is unbelievable. So I can't wait to come back.
Well, we say this all the time, man. Our door is always open. It doesn't ever close. That's the beautiful thing about what we do. We look for long-term connections versus short-term gain on anything that we attach ourselves to, and vice versa. The reality of the situation is this, and while I appreciate the thanks, it's really you guys. We're just, watching the stuff and getting it out there to whoever wants to watch it with us and enjoy the ride that we're going on, because it's fantastic to be a part not only of the wrestling business again for me 20 years later, and this is the way that we can give back, because it's thankless and there's a lot of sacrifices that go along with what you do, not only just as a professional wrestler. For you, it's double down because you're also traveling and touring and entertaining to set it off. So there's so much to you, and it's been a pleasure just to scratch the surface, and cannot wait for you to come back and chat with us down the line. We're going to make that one happen because this has been a fantastic show, brother.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Yeah, one more thing. If you do live in the Orlando area, or even not, and you're thinking about professional wrestling at all, take a minute, check out House of Champions. I cannot put them over enough. They're unbelievable. All the coaches, Kay, Jamie Stanley, Renee. It's a really, really special environment. Or even just going to a show, even if you're not trying to get in the ring, you just want to watch a great show. Definitely worth checking out. And the other thing I wanted to say, oh yeah, Matthew Ennis sucks.
Yes, yes, 1000%. That's
Yeah,
the best
he
way
sure
to.
does.
Yeah, he does. He doesn't know how to treat people, little fucker. Speaking of independent wrestling, guys, for those, we appreciate everyone who has dropped in. You guys have been tremendous. You've been awesome. I hope that we got to all of your questions. If we didn't get to all of them, maybe we covered or touched on everything that you guys were asking. If you have not done so, the easiest way that you can support independent wrestling and the people attached to it is simple. It's by liking, sharing, and following on social media and/or buying merchandise. Maxx Danziger keeps it simple. It's been on the screen the entire show. Max SIO over on Instagram. And if you want to try and pick up one of the snazzy tees, this is not the new one. You guys need to really go check out that new dope fucking design. Mine
Thank
is
you.
going to be on its way. ProWrestlingTees.com/Max Danziger is where you can find that. It's been on the screen too the entire show. If you're catching us on YouTube, go down below. You're going to get all the links to set it off. You're going to get all the links for everything that you can support Maxx Danziger on, both in ring and out of ring. Guy's out here crushing it. He is on the road more often than he is home, and he is doing his part to entertain each and every one of us. So if you could do us that solid and just hit that follow, or go and pick up a t-shirt. And before we get out of here, I do want to tell you this. I didn't get to bring this up earlier, and I do want to make sure that I touch on this one. Here's how I know that this guy's a good dude and a good brother. When we were at the show, I've been to two of them down there. I came up to you and I said, "Hey man, let me go ahead and get one of your T-shirts. Let me buy one from you." This guy looked at me and said, "No, sir, this was on me." So I will never forget that. I will always thank you for that generosity. You did not have to. And when I say that, guys, and I bring that up, it's because this is money out of his pocket. That's what this is. So you got to support and you got to give it back. If you can, do it. Mr. Danziger, we kept you longer than I anticipated, and I wanted to.
It's fine with me.
Usually I keep them to about an hour and 15, but we ran an hour and a half. We had a great time. I can't wait to have you back on the show. Do you
I will
have any?
say before we go about the shirt, I saw as I was walking out, there was this group of people that were all booing, and then you were in there, and I saw you cheer.
Mhm.
And so for that reason alone, I was like, this guy deserves a shirt, you know? Taste. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for not listening to the masses or listening to what Mo says about me. Independent thinker. You like to see it. So
Oh yeah, man. I listen. I call it down the middle. People don't have to like it, yeah, but it's always going to be 100% straight shooting. And if I appreciate somebody, I fucking appreciate somebody. And I think Toddy can attest to this. When we go all in on a channel with us on this channel, we go all in. So it's fun. Like I said, it's just developing and maintaining relationships past where we're at now, where we're going to be going moving forward. As our platform grows, man, it's going to be fantastic. You're going to continue to crush it. Success is going to find you because you're already there. It's happening. Toddy, what would you like to say to the people before we get ready to close it out?
I just want to say thank you so much for being here with us. We truly appreciate you. Everyone in the chat, you have been absolutely wonderful all night. And I appreciate you sharing your love and your passion with us and allowing us to do the same thing with you. I truly love each and every one of your faces, and I cannot wait to be with you again.
Mr. Danziger, the floor is yours.
thank you so much for having me. This is the first interview I've ever done where I got to talk about my love of wrestling for an extended period of time. So years in the making. So I very much appreciate the platform to be able to do so. I would appreciate anyone if you're in the area, whether it's at the Hawk or wherever I end up, please come to a show, check it out. It's so much fun. Even if I'm not there, go support independent wrestling. If you're a Set It Off fan, I'm sure I'll see you at a Set It Off show soon. If you're a wrestling fan, I'm sure I'll see you at a wrestling show soon. Thank you for watching this, and I'll see everyone real soon.
For Mr. Maxx Danziger, Tadra Tabar Ramsey, I am Chris Page. We appreciate each and every one of you. We'll see you next time. Let me just end it on that. Bye, guys.